everybody, Chris here, and this is Ready to Die Fighting. Someone asked me to upload a video about some of the stuff that I keep in my car. I've got a big black box you're going to see in a minute here that I fill with emergency supplies in case we need to suddenly evacuate or in case something happens while we're out and about and we need to flee or shelter in place for, more than a day. So I keep a bunch of stuff in the car for various emergencies, and so I'm going to go over some of that stuff today. The bikes are actually part of our emergency plan. Not only do we just enjoy bike riding, but we also, the plan is if we need to get home quickly, especially in the warmer months, the fastest way to do that is by bicycle, right? If the car for whatever reason isn't working, or if we need to quickly evacuate or whatever, we want to have the bikes with us. So they actually stay on pretty much once the snow melts and it seems like the roads are going to be clear until we start getting snow again. The bikes stay on here. We don't have fat tires or anything like that. The city is not all that responsible when it comes to, or reliable I should say, when it comes to clearing the roads. So I feel like in the cold winter months, I know that you can bike in the cold and in the winter. We don't. It doesn't seem realistic to me for our capabilities and for the bikes themselves. So they come off in the winter. But I just finished loading things up on the inside for our winter supplies. I took some of our winter gear out, especially while we were camping and whatnot. And so I just put that back in. And so let's take a look at what I got. I'm not sure why the camera stopped. But this is not the best way to store sleeping bags, and I'm well aware of it. But I don't really have a better way to do it. So for right now, they're in here, and there's a sleeping bag for me. Mine's the gray one. Coconuts is the blue one, and we've got some place to sleep. So I'll just move those off to the side. Additionally, we've got gloves. That's only one glove. This is actually a reflective windshield sunblocker thing, but it's kind of thick, so there's some cushioning, and it's reflective, so it actually works as a like a sleeping pad. And I use this for the boy. I've tested it out on myself, and it did a pretty decent job, but he really doesn't stay on a sleeping pad. When we go camping, he just jumps off of it, or not jumps off, he rolls all over the place, and so he just does not stay on a pad, so that'll be good enough for him. We've got gloves for both of us. Here's mine. We've got these, I don't know what to call this, a micro fleece thing. It's like a little mask, so you can wear it a few different ways. We got a, look at that, 360 at the end of the winter last year. Some wool socks, got a pair for each of us. Another mask for him. And so that's basically it for our winter gear. I should have pointed out on the side that we've got a coat for each of us, not inside the trunk. We're those type of people, we're both winter babies, and so we don't like wearing coats. It's got to be really cold before either one of us break out a coat. And so I usually just keep the coats in the car, and then we just wear like a hoodie or something like that pretty much all winter long. And so we always keep the coats with us in case, but we're usually not wearing them. And so I don't keep them in the trunk to make them easier access. So we've got a headlamp, because that comes in really handy. I got a flat tire once in the middle of the night in the winter. Here's some backup batteries for it. Some of those are rechargeable, some of them are regular. So that's more than enough batteries for this. But I often also keep a flashlight and a radio and things like that. And pretty much I try to keep everything with the same battery type. So if it's not rechargeable, they use AAA's as much as I possibly can. But yeah, I got a flat tire, and having a headlamp in the middle of the night trying to work on a tire, that was really a lifesaver right there. It was freezing cold. Freezing. I want to say it was like -17 or something like that, 11 o'clock at night. I've got a little cooking pot here, and I really like this. It's an MSR little pot. And then I stuff it full of oatmeal, and here's just some little graham crackers. And that way we can boil water if we need to. We've got a little cooking thing. I debated whether putting this in there, but I really like having something like that we can get food going and get boiled water. So just put that right there. We've got an MRE for each of us. My favorite by far is menu number 19, the beef patty with jalapeno pepper jack cheese. It's actually good. Like I actually just like it. Like I could just eat it. The cheese tortellini the boy likes. So there we go. One for each of us. Then I also have a couple of dehydrated meals. So beef stroganoff for the boy, lasagna for me. And what I like about these is these are serving for two. So we could actually split these each. And that's another benefit of having the pot, is that we can rehydrate these things in the pot. We can share it. So I get one, and then we have one of these water containers, an Nalgene. I forget how many ounces this is. 48 ounces. It's filled with water. And then this metal cup. And so we could reheat water and cook and eat out of both the pot and the cup. And then I just keep that there. And then another water bottle for the boy. So one for each of us. So we've got food, we've got water, we've got sleeping system, we've got warm clothes. What else have we got? A rain poncho for each of us. My sleeping pad, and this is actually the one that I use when I go camping. And these are the sleeping bags that we use when we go camping. So they are well tested. We know that we're comfortable in them. We like them. We know how they work. So that's fantastic. It's not gear that we just buy and then stuff it someplace and never use it and don't even know if it works or if we like it, if it has holes in it, whatever. We're comfortable with these. We know that they work. Hand warmers. So my concern obviously is like the car breaking down. We're being stranded someplace and being stuck for any length of time, you know, and so that's the main thing that I'm prepping for here as far as this car, but is also if in case we need to evacuate. I have a tent in here, so here's the tent poles, tent stakes, and then the tent itself is stuffed down into this compression sack, and that works really nicely. I have this saw, and this is the Corona. I got this at I think Lowe's, I believe it was, and it was not very expensive, but it's a really nice saw. I like it. I've used it, as you can see, I've used it quite a bit. I like this saw. We use it when we go camping, and like I said, this is all of our camping gear. If we decided to go camping, like right now, if I said, hey Nate, let's go camping, we could just do it. We would not have to go back to the house. We probably should to pick up the dog. That would not be nice to leave the dog at home by herself for like a weekend. That would be so wrong. That would be so wrong. But we could do it. We have everything we need. This is a Columbia River Knife and Tool Company tomahawk. This thing is brutal. I like it a lot. It's the Kanji T-Hawk. I haven't used it a ton yet. I got it for my birthday this year, but when I tested and I did play with it, it was solid. It was solid. So I like that for, you can do some basic processing of wood, but it's also good for like wrecking and clearing and destruction demo type of work. What I think I'd more likely need in a urban type of situation. This is the cold steel, I'm not sure what they call it exactly, but it's a shovel. It's a cold steel shovel. I put it away dirty. I thought I cleaned this thing, but I must have used it again. And yeah, again, we use it. It's got a sharp edge, which is quite nice for chopping through roots. We usually mostly use it for digging latrines and whatnot, but just general construction and demolition, and it's a great little shovel. It really is. And again, not very expensive. What else have we got in here? I I've got a box of some of my favorite ammo in 9mm because that's what I carry. And even though I have extra magazines in the glove compartment, it only holds, I think, 9, the shield. So having an extra box, 25 rounds, that does not seem like a bad idea. I also keep a couple of boxes of shotgun. This is a Deer and Predator buckshot. And that seems like a good choice to me for home defense. Also hunting as well. It says Deer and Predator. I include that Predator, the 2-legged kind and the 4-legged kind. Not too many here. I have seen one coyote before. I'm not too worried about coyotes, though. They seem to be gun shy or human shy. And then there's also a rifled slug. So I figure between the two, that should, or between the 3, I should be pretty well covered. I don't have a shotgun with me, but if I were to bug out and evacuate and we were at home, the shotgun is something that I intend to grab. Even if and this is just in case I forget to grab ammo while I'm grabbing the gun, which is possible. So I just threw, it takes up so little space. Figured I might as well just throw a couple in just to be safe. There is a wool blanket that works great as like a ground sheet for just a little bit of cushioning from the ground when we're camping, or if we need to be in the car hanging out and hiding out or whatever, we can wrap up in that. The wool blanket is just really nice. This won me over our last camping trip. We used this wool blanket every night, and it just made the tent so much more comfortable, and yeah, I just liked having it. But even before that, I originally bought it for the purpose of this car, to keep it in here as our main thing to keep warm. At that point, I wasn't keeping the sleeping bags. I recently added those. Let's see, what else have we got here? We're winding down for sure. Snow pants for each of us. So the boys actually don't fit him very well anymore. He's outgrown them a bit. I will have to buy him some new ones, but until then, these are here. Like, I think he can't button them, and they're a little bit short around his ankles, but it'll still keep his legs warm, especially if we're just sitting in the car freezing our butts off waiting for, you know, roads to be cleared or whatever the case is. He'll be happy to have them. I probably don't need to keep this in here, but a gas can. And I actually ran out of gas once, and I didn't. It was so funny because I was in the store looking at them. I went on this road trip and with a friend, and I was in the store looking at gas cans. I was like, I never run out of gas. I don't need that. I almost bought it, and the only reason why I did it is I thought of my mom making fun of me because she had been kind of teasing me a little bit because I was going a little bit overboard on the prepping stuff. And sure enough, on that particular trip, I ran out of gas on the road. My friend was driving, not me. We were talking, and of course it was the middle of the night. He's not paying attention. We ran out of gas. I'm not going to mention names, Sandro, but that's what happened. Knee pads. Seems like an odd one, but I learned when I was changing that flat in the snow and in the wet, and it was -17 at 11, 12 o'clock at night. Knee pads would have been wonderful to have. As it was, I happened to have just some cardboard or something like that, but kneeling in the snow trying to change a tire when it's cold and it's wet, that was terrible. That was utterly terrible. Knee pads. Oh, I wished I had them. I went out the next day and bought some. Let's see, so that's it for what's inside the actual trunk. Behind it, I keep a few extra things, and I keep it behind them for a couple reasons. One, the bikes are always on the car, and so it makes it a little bit of a pain to access this. So things that I might want to access a little bit quicker and maybe not have to rummage through all this, I keep behind the trunk. So that specifically is the tire iron, because I'm thinking, like, what's the most likely thing that I'm going to run into? Is it most likely that I'm going to need snow pants and a blanket and a tent and all that? Probably not. My most likely thing is either my car battery's going to die or I'm going to get a flat tire. That's the most likely thing that's going to happen, right? So tire iron goes back behind here. I can just lift up that, open the seat back up. I don't know how, oh, maybe you can't see that, but you know how a lot of cars, I'll show you in a minute, open up and you can access it through the back seat, and I can just grab the tire iron. And this is something I figured out on our camping trip, and I started keeping things back here because we actually needed a few tools and whatnot, but we had all of our camping gear back here and it was pretty much inaccessible. So I eventually rearranged things, and that stuff that I'm most likely to need I keep back here. And so that's why I said maybe I don't need to keep this gas tank inside here. Maybe I should put it back there behind it. So I might rearrange things a little bit more and put that back here, which will free up some little bit more space for the sleeping bags as well. Maybe give them a little bit more room to fluff up. So tire irons back there. A shovel, and this is a collapsible shovel. So you know, you just push that in. Whoops, went too far. And now it's full length. So I keep that in there because snow is our big thing, especially come winter. And that cold steel shovel, as nice as it is, I don't know that it'd be the best for shoveling snow. Like if we got stuck in a ditch, that's gonna work a lot better. This is a, what do you call it, one of those portable car battery jumpers. So you don't actually need jumper cables. You can just connect this. I've tested this out twice now. It's worked beautifully. I do recommend it. It can sit in the car for months on end. You can even use it as a battery backup. So if your cell phone dies, you can go and grab this. I've actually used it for that as well. So I guess I've used it 3 times. As an emergency battery, cell phone charger, but also to jump your car in case your car battery dies. Used it twice already. Excellent purchase. And then I think the last thing is a toolbox. I don't know if I can access it very well from this way. There you go. And this, let's raise that up so I don't have to. There we go. And here's a tool bag, and I keep, you know, the standard stuff that you would expect. I'm not a mechanic. Major repairs aren't going to be done on the side of the road, so it's what's most likely going to happen. I got some fix-a-flat. I've got some jumper cables just in case the battery backup isn't working, or maybe I've used it a couple times and the battery's dead, or I forgot to charge it, or maybe it's really cold or really hot, whatever. Backup to something electrical. Electrical things, you know, they don't always work. We got some paper towels, these blue shop towels, which is kind of nice to have. WD-40 is always useful. It's like the duct tape of, I don't even know what, just duct, it's like duct tape. This is just an extra lamp. One of my, I think, tail lights was out, and so, you know, they come with 2, so there's the extra one. Here's extensions for the ratchet set. So a ratchet set and some extensions for it. A flashlight, which doesn't have batteries in it, but I've got the batteries over there. A little stubby screwdriver, a full-size screwdriver, a vice grip. These are just so useful, just in general. You can use them for a lot of things. A small crescent wrench. I'd probably do better with a big one, but you know, I've actually, you know, I can get some things done with that. And I think that's all that's in here. I do have a roll of duct tape that's actually, I think, in the front seat, because I was, why did I take that out? I can't remember why I took it out. I think because it was in here and I was going to put it back behind here, make it more accessible. And then some little battery protector gel and these things. I think I just threw them in because I put in a new battery, and then I just threw these things in here. Probably wouldn't need them in an emergency, but where else are you going to put that? So I think that's it for in the car. Or in my little trunk thing. I can show you a couple more things that I have up in the front. Let's just walk around. It's a little messy, I know. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Let's just go like this. So down here, I keep a first aid kit, And this has a tourniquet, Israeli patch, completely unnecessary CPR face shields. You know, it's just recommended not to do face-to-face anymore or mouth-to-mouth, but to do just compression only. And this is packed full of emergency stuff. I'm thinking if I witness a car accident or if I myself am in a car accident, it'd be nice to have things that we need. And what's nice is it's got Velcro on the back, and so it sticks to the carpet quite nicely there and doesn't roll around. I also keep a fire extinguisher. Never used it, but I hope I don't have to, but it's there in case I do. What else have we got in here? Some pretty busted up mats. I need to get new ones. This was actually really fun during our trip. Let's see what place we went. I highlighted where we were traveling as we were going. One as like a souvenir to remember our journey, but it also helped as we were navigating. I'd cross off or kind of just mark where we were in the city so that just in case the GPS died or the cell phone died or something happened, I didn't get reception, I could still follow the map and know where I was going. And I keep this in the car all the time, even aside from the trip, for that same reason. GPS doesn't always work. Cell phones die or they stop working or they don't get signal. And this has come in really handy more than once when I was kind of out in the boonies, various places, just having a map. What else have we got here? I keep an emergency crank radio that has the NOAA weather alerts. It's got a flashlight. It's got like a dog whistle, all that stuff. And yeah, and I get alarms go off whenever there's storms and stuff. The first time it happened, it actually scared me, but it's nice having it. And it plugs into a USB cable back here, so basically whenever the car's running, it is charging, so I never have to worry about the battery dying. Hand sanitizer is always nice to have. I keep paper towels, some wipes. Oh, you can't see this over here, but paper towels, wipes, bug spray, dish soap. This kind of became our cleaning station when we were on our trip, and I've kept it here because it was quite nice. You know, we fill this up with water and use that to wash our hands or to wash dishes, spray ourselves with bug spray, clean up with the paper towel and the wipes. And so that's where we like brushed your teeth and washed our dishes and all that. And so that was a nice thing to have. Used up all the water since then. Haven't really needed that, but I figured why put that stuff away. It was nice having it. I think that's pretty much it. We keep a bunch of toys and stuff kind of in the back seat for the kid. He's got some books and stuffed animals. He also keeps a blanket back there because he falls asleep when we're driving all the time. And you know, I always keep the air conditioning going and stuff, so he likes having a little blanket back there when he's sleeping. We keep our bike helmets and some bike tools and things like that just in the car pretty much all the time because we go biking a lot. We're probably just gonna ride bikes later on today because I got the bikes off the rack. We might as well ride around, right, before I put them back on there. I think that's it. This is our bug out vehicle, my zombie car, as I sometimes call it. It is also the only car that I have, so it's not like I have a zombie car and then a regular car. This is our everyday vehicle, and it is bug out ready. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, by all means, send some comments. I'll try to answer them. Of course, if you got suggestions too, if there's something I'm forgetting, of course, let me know. I'm always looking for feedback. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of thing. And I also have my this bag, which was on the seat. This is my work bag, but it is also the first three pockets are actually emergency supplies that I take into the office and around with me everywhere. And my Go-Ruck, or my rucking backpack, and which is actually my bug out or get home bag, that's also in the car. And so I can do maybe what's in the bag type of videos on those as well if you guys are interested in that sort of thing. I meant to before and I just never did it, and I didn't know if the interest would be there. So let me know. Send me some likes, send me some comments, some subscribes, and then I know you like this sort of thing. All right, enough talking. I gotta clean this stuff up, put it away, and yeah, let's go ride around a little bit. Catch you on the next one, guys.